Hey guys, welcome back to Carsonian Beans. Sorry about that. Today we are going to be doing NFL Week 15 at Power Rankings. We only got a few more weeks. I'm starting, I'm getting hyped up for the playoffs, but I'm also, I'm getting kind of down because I only get to make two more of these, and I do enjoy making them, and I hope you enjoy watching them. But also, this is part one. This is going to be team number 32 to team number 17. If you're looking for part two, which is going to be the top 16, that link should be popping up sometime at the top of your screen during this intro. Might have already done it. If so, that's great. But let's go ahead and get started with team number 32, which is pretty obvious. The Jets just keep on getting worse week by week. It's pretty obvious right now. They play a lot worse when Sam Darnold's in there. Sam Darnold is not the answer for the Jets, and it just gets more and more depressing every week watching this franchise just collapse. In 31st, we got the Bengals, kind of equally as depressing. Joe Burrow got hurt, and it's been all downhill. Their offense just let that Cowboys defense that so far has been terrible just completely dominate. And the Bengals, terrible ever since Joe Burrow got hurt. And, it was actually pretty close. I almost put the Jets above them. I was considering doing that because I was watching Red Zone and I saw the Bengals got beat like crazy to the Cowboys. I was like, wow. And then in the later games, I started seeing the Jets get completely demolished. And I was like, oh, I guess it's not going to happen. I really thought the Bengals would be in last, though. Pretty close. And then we got the Jaguars. They ended up benching Mike Glennon for Gardner Minshew. It's gone full circle at this point. It's just complete terrible. They would have dropped down more if it hadn't been for how bad the Jets and Bengals have been playing. But it's pretty obvious that Gardner Minshew's not the answer. He's definitely better than Mike Glennon or Jake Luton. He went out there, he drove them to a touchdown drive, and I thought, hey, there's still time left. Maybe something crazy could happen. Maybe they could win, but it's the Titans. They're not going to lose to a team like the Jaguars. And the Jaguars dropped down 1. The Chargers dropped down 2. They do get a win, but they just look worse and worse every week. I know they got a win against the Falcons. Then again, it's the Falcons, and they are just the Chargers aren't playing good at all. Anthony Lynn definitely should be fired. He completely has ruined Justin Herbert's rookie year. And the Chargers, yeah, they got a win, but I do these not off of record, but how well they're playing. And in my opinion, I thought the Chargers could have come into this game, and I thought they could have taken advantage of the fact they're playing in much easier opponents than they have been playing this whole season. I thought they could manage to get a win here, or not a win, but definitely a dominant win. I thought they could get a dominant win here, and they didn't. They did get a win, but it didn't look good. I'm sorry, but I expected them to dominate. I wanted them to dominate just so that I could have a little bit of hope. Maybe this Chargers team is better than their 4-9 or at that point 3-9 record. Into 28, we have the Cowboys who jump up to. Their defense was absolutely dominant against the Bengals, as I said. Their offense also, their offense wasn't necessarily explosive. It wasn't actually very good. It mainly just, had a bunch of short fields because of how good that defense was playing. And the Cowboys, they jump up to. Can't let jump up too far just because they 2 weeks before this week looked absolutely horrendous. And, it's not too hard to blow out the Bengals. In 27, it was a pretty good win. They do jump up 2. A lot of times you can just ignore this. The Jaguars moving down 1 didn't really mean much. But we got the Broncos jumping up by 1. They got a pretty good win against the Panthers. A lot of special teams plays on that one. A nice punt return for a touchdown really helped them out. It was a pretty close game, but the Panthers were playing pretty terribly. The Broncos, Drew Lock was definitely the best piece. They didn't actually have too good of a game. It was mainly that punt return touchdown and Drew Lock. And I know Drew Lock is part of it, which is why they jump up. But still, their defense didn't actually play too good. Definitely underperformed in my opinion. If their defense had played as well as their offense had, they might be, in the orange place. They might be out of this screen and made it onto the second screen for the first time in a while. And in 26, we've got the Texans who dropped down 3. When you get dominated by the Bears, you're not gonna move. You're not gonna move up. Let's just be honest. The Texans dropped down 3. Pretty terrible game. It was just embarrassing, really. If you were a Texans fan, I had them up at 23rd. I was thinking, hey, Deshaun Watson's playing pretty well, and then no, the Texans just came out here and completely embarrassed themselves, and they dropped down by 3. And in 25th, we have the Eagles, who somehow don't move. I think it has a lot to do with teams moving around them. But really, the Eagles, they did go out there and impress me. Jalen Hurts had a really, really good game. And I actually do, and I know this is going to come as a shock, but I actually do believe the Eagles are still alive in the NFC East. They're only 2 games out of first, and I really think that they can make up that ground. They do play Washington at the end of the year, so I think if they play it well, I do think that end of the year game against Washington could be for the division. And I definitely do think the Eagles are in a good spot right now to where they could surprisingly, they could come out of nowhere and win this division. They just really, it wouldn't take too much. They just need the Panthers to pull off an upset against Washington. Washington to lose to the Seahawks, the Giants to basically lose out, and then the Eagles, which, I mean, the way they played last week won't be too crazy, and the Eagles need to get a win in Week 17. And the Eagles, if I was an Eagles fan, I wouldn't be too, knocked down about this. The reason I say there was mainly because I thought I had them down here, and also teams moving around them. Like, for instance, the Panthers, who dropped down 8. They kept it close, but it was against the Broncos, and they weren't playing very well. I thought that they were getting Christian McCaffrey back this week, so I had them up there. And also, I thought they were much better than their record. But no, they're not. They dropped down to 4-9, and they're playing. It was like the Chargers. At one point, the Chargers were way better than their record, and now they're not. Now the Chargers are, if anything, worse than their record. And the Panthers definitely are not worse than their record, but playing like a 4-9 team. Did not look very good this game. Teddy Bridgewater still doing in there, playing well, but that defense is really underperforming from what we've seen these past weeks, and they dropped down 8, which is probably the biggest movement we're going to see this whole video. Possibly in both. And in the 23rd, we had the Lions, who jump up 1, mainly because they kept it close. They kept it close with the Packers, and also the Panthers dropping down and all that definitely helped them out. But the Lions, they kept it close with the Packers. They did more than I expected. But in the end, they did still lose, so they can't jump up too far. Again, I'm basing this on how well they played. Last week, I thought that they wouldn't be able to keep it close. I thought 31-24 was like a pipe dream, but no, it's not. The Lions, they kept it close, but then again, they did lose. If they had won, they would be up in 19th, 18th, something like that. But yeah. And by the way, a lot of people get mad at me for putting teams that have like way worse records than other teams above them. Like, I think at one point I had like a 4-7 team above a 7-4 team, and people were getting on me for that. And like, come on, I don't base it off of record. But anyways, we got the Falcons, who don't move. They choked. We all kind of expected it. They always choke. It was kind of embarrassing, but mainly because I just can't see the Falcons below the Lions, so they stay up there. But it was disappointing. They did put up a pretty good fight. It was a last-second field goal that won it, but still the Falcons played better than I expected, but in the end, you lost, kind of like the Lions, except for the Falcons. Except the Lions really outplayed my expectations. And then 21st, we had the Bears, who jump up 5, dominant win over the Texans. Their offense looked really good. That shocked me. Their offense has been horrendous this whole year, and now they go out there and they play really well. So they jump up 5. They're 6-7, and while it's a long shot, their playoff hopes are definitely still alive, especially if they play like they played last week. If they play like they played last week, they definitely could possibly beat the Vikings, and they definitely could see themselves in a wild card spot. But right now, though, I would have jumped them up more, but it was only 1 week, and I don't want to overreact too much. They definitely played like a top 15 team in this game. However, I know I said base it off of performance. Looking at all other weeks this whole season, the Bears are not, playing like that consistently. Entering the top 20, we have the Giants, who dropped down 1. Mainly because of how bad the Bears have been playing with the Giants. Their defense actually didn't play too horribly, but it wasn't bad, but it also underperformed. Their defense, it got hyped up a lot. They had 4 really good games there, and their defense didn't play very well. Their offense got kind of exposed. Their offense I know a lot of people like to say their offense is doing really well. Their offense has not played really well this whole season. They haven't had a really high-scoring game. They really kind of relied on their defense, and they went up against the Cardinals, that were a very good defense and a really good offense and a pretty okay defense. And they got embarrassed. I think it was 26-7. The Giants looked bad. They dropped down 1, but really it wasn't. Their defense didn't completely underperform, and their offense kind of did as I expected. However, scoring 7 points on any team is not going to help you out. They dropped them by 1. And 19th, we have the 49ers. This is one of those times where you kind of have to ignore how much they moved. A lot of people focus way too much on how much teams moved. I would be focused on the fact that I have the 49ers at 19th. You can look at this and you can say, hey, they lost to the Washington football team. However, you look at the Washington football team, they had Dwayne Haskins starting in the second half because Alex Smith got injured. Dwayne Haskins played horribly. Dwayne Haskins had one of the worst performances I've seen in a while. Dwayne Haskins went out there and he showed every single reason why he got benched. I think he basically threw an interception, but they got overturned. I think it barely hit the ground. And the 49ers, they also let the Washington defense completely demolish them. I think they had 2 defensive touchdowns Washington did. The 49ers, it just was embarrassing. However, They do jump up 2, mainly because teams moving around them. You see the Giants dropping down 1 definitely helped them. The Panthers dropping down 8 definitely helped them. And yeah, so you see, basically what I'm saying is that the 49ers are right here, and the Giants are around here. They drop down, and that boosted them up. The Panthers are way up here, and then they drop down, and that boosts them up. A lot of people don't understand what I'm saying when I say teams moving around them. I'm not just pulling stuff out of my butt cheeks right now, or making stuff up. It's seriously, teams do move around a lot, and that does, mess things up. I definitely don't sit there. If I tried to make every single team that lost go down and every single team that won go up, I would sit 5 hours, and I already sit like 3 hours trying to make this stuff. But anyways, you don't care. And 18th, I don't think everyone watching my videos is the 49ers fan. We have the Patriots, who dropped down 1 tough loss, didn't really play any worse than I expected. They had a tough game. No one really expected them to win. Ignore the fact that I predicted them to win. That was just me, kind of. I thought that maybe they could. That's why they dropped down 1. I just can't see them below the 49ers. The Patriots, they do get a loss, but, really, they didn't look too bad doing it. It looked like a pretty close game, but the Rams just kept on scoring. And in 17th, we had the Vikings, who jump up 1 because they actually, if you look, if Dan Bailey had made all those kicks, I think it would have been like 26-24. The Vikings would have been in a really good position. However, it was 26-14. I think Dan Bailey missed like an extra point and 3 field goals or something. So really, they got screwed by their kicker. And in my opinion, I really think I think looking at a whole offense, if you don't look at the score and you look at what they did, the amount of field goals they set up, they really overperformed what I thought they could do. They played a lot better than I expected, and they're going to move up for that. However, they're not going to move up too far because in the end, they did get beat by 12, and their kicker definitely is still a part of their team. He is still a player, and the fact that he's playing terribly definitely bumps him down a tiny bit. So they stay in the first video. And thank you guys so much for watching this video. As you can see, I'm about to start part 2 right after I finish recording this. So please go ahead and watch part 2. And if you're coming from part 2, like you watched part 2 and went back, hi. Thank you guys so much for watching both of them, or watching whatever. You don't even have to watch the second one. Just do what you want. Just know it's there. And in the end, I hope you subscribe. I post NFL videos every single day of the week, Monday through Sunday, unless I'm feeling lazy or I'm busy or whatever. I normally get like 3 views. I don't think it really matters. But thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next one, which I'm going to start recording right now.